Hello everyone, and thank you very much for tuning in. I, of course, am Rotype. Welcome back to Cedar Valley Redux, where we're going to jump into a time-lapse pretty soon here. But before we do that, I just want to show you a few things I've done off camera. Probably the biggest of which is over here in Northside. You'll notice that it is all now in this wall-to-wall, or almost wall-to-wall, tall New York theme is what I've been calling it, with this style of building. I finally just bit the bullet and demolished all of those buildings that were there and went ahead and switched the theme over, and I think I like it a lot better. It makes this whole city kind of a little bit more seamless instead of having this weird kind of modern area. And then obviously in this actual kind of downtown area, it's not the same theme, sort of. But you can't really tell because of all the Rico skyscrapers we have going on. And then again, on this side, I'm going to start fading back into that same theme. And I think this tall New York theme works well with this Brooklyn reworked, what it used to be Brooklyn and Manhattan by Fine Build, but now is just Brooklyn reworked. So I'm kind of settling in on that theme for this area, and I think it works well. I still have to figure out what I want to do about the transition. I might do some ploppable Rico of this style to aid the transition. But like I said, for Northside, I think it just works better. It just looks a little bit nicer, a little bit more matching. You know, it feels better to me than those vanilla international style buildings just look too fancy and too shiny, too new. And no city is going to have, or most cities that I've ever seen aren't going to have those like 100% neighborhood of modern, shiny, you know, just wonderful looking buildings. I don't know. It didn't look right. Didn't look realistic. So I did away with it. The other thing you'll notice right here on this corner, there are some details that need to be done. Just a little bit. These are all Rico buildings. These, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buildings here. They're all ploppable Rico. I think most of them are offices. We can check here. Yeah, office. Yep. So these are all Rico offices. And I think they fit the theme pretty well. They're not quite, they're not growables, so they can't go in the growable theme. But they have this kind of brick tight, I don't know. You can see for yourself. They kind of fit. So obviously there's some detailing to be done. We'll do that in the time lapse. You can see I left the police station, even though it isn't this wall to wall. We worked on this plaza for an entire episode, and I think it almost looks, maybe not better, but I think it still looks pretty good. It just mends right in with this wall to wall. I don't know. I like it. I think it looks good. So I kept that, and I kept the fire station. But as you can see, the rest of this brand new old buildings, whatever. You understand what I'm talking about. So from here, the next thing I will show you is pretty much just some naming, and I'm going to pause so this doesn't go crazy. But I went through and named a couple areas. I believe these streets weren't there in the last episode. So I went in just, again, in the same grid pattern, drew these down. But I did name this nice big library here. I think this might be a vanilla asset. Oh, I didn't name it here. Let's go ahead and do this here. So I'm calling this the Sam Public Library. And that is in recognition of Sam TS, who makes I think he's Move It, as well as Fine Road Anarchy, which is how you get all the sharp angles of the roads. And I should have looked it all up, because as I've started to create more districts and areas, I wanted to also include the mod makers, who I previously didn't necessarily remember because I was naming things after the asset creator who made the asset that I plopped. A good example is Bad Nut Station here. But I also wanted to give a shout out to some of these mod makers, because some of these mods are like necessary. So Sam TS makes several very good mods, so he gets a public library. You'll see here, I've left the gridding out of this stretch here, and I'm going to turn this into a little garden space. I'm not sure if I want it to be a pure park, just kind of, Central Park, New York-y kind of style, or a more controlled access botanical garden kind of thing. I don't know yet. But either way, I'm going to call it Mason Gardens for Mr. Mason, who makes a lot of wonderful trees and bushes and wonderful assets on the workshop. So this will be Mason Gardens, and it'll come in and kind of connect right up to the public library. And then it just seemed appropriate to name these little strips that didn't really feel right to extend Nora out this way and this way. So I just called this Parkview North and South. Again, we kind of talked about how north is more or less, let's see, I've made this little strip here to help myself align. This is pretty much north. So this is Parkview North, view over the park, and Parkview South. So let's see, I named those. Over here, I've had this named for an episode or two now, but I don't know that I mentioned it. So I'm calling this neighborhood Ronkston, and that is Ronix69, who makes mods and assets and just all kinds of wonderful things. So he gets this neighborhood named after him, and obviously there's a lot of work to be done, but decided this is what the neighborhood's going to be called. I have X field here because I haven't come up with a good name, X being my little placeholder for something. And then this neighborhood used to have a different name. I think probably just one of the auto-generated, colossal order names. So I did decide to rename it West Side again. This is Nora, Midtown. This is just kind of like the west side of the city. So went ahead and named those areas as well. Just, again, some shout outs to some people that really make this game work pretty well. The last thing I didn't have too much time between episodes this week, but I went ahead and filled in just another block, going back to Port McCarthy and just chipping away one at a time. So I doubled up this Rico building, and I'm trying to give the port a bit more tarmac. Again, I'm doing a lot of research and looking out at other ports across the world, ports across the world. And I see a lot of pavement out here. Even, obviously you see a lot of pavement in the terminals, especially container terminals. But even out here, you see a lot of pavement or even just kind of dirt. So the buildings don't necessarily have to be so wedged in. So I'm going to try and start doing that a little bit more, give some space. I probably should have done it a bit up here. And as you get closer to the highway, they get wedged in. But there's, as you can see, a ton of space to continue to develop my technique for building these things. So like I said, one block at a time, just kind of show you guys what I have working on. I clipped these little, what are these called? Old brick warehouses in as well. So they look pretty good. I don't really like them by themselves, but they work well clipping into things. And that is pretty much it. That's all I've had time for between episodes. So I'm going to jump into a time lapse, like I said, and we're going to do this little corner here to hopefully kind of finish out North Side. And the next thing I want to do is either Discovery Park or the Mason Gardens kind of section, this big long block here. So I'm going to go ahead and spin up some music and jump into that right now, and I will be back when we are done. Alright, I hope you all enjoyed that little bit of time lapse. We got this nice little park built. Well, not little, this nice park built, which I think is pretty, well, nice. I mean, I'd want to live in a city that has a big wooded, empty park. So you saw most of it. I did a little bit of kind of repetitive stuff off camera. It occurs to me now that I just forgot to add some benches. So we can go ahead and do that now. That won't take too long. And actually, I'll make sure to use the correct bench. I'm just going to use the prop benches because PPG can be a little finicky. And if I had thought ahead what I would have done. Ooh, okay. Let's just search for bench. If I thought ahead, what I would have done was made these pedestrian roads, but I didn't. And I don't really want to go back and deal with redoing them. So we're just going to put some prop benches in. There are some PPGs just kind of scattered throughout the park. I mean, probably not as many as I would like. Probably, maybe 3 or 4 for the whole park, maybe 5. Because they do have to be pretty close to the edge roads. So obviously there aren't going to be any kind of PPGs going on inside where people wouldn't be more likely to hang out. Let's see, these benches are a little too close. Let's make them. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so some benches there. Anyway, so, as usual, sort of in this game, some people will use, it looks like we got some walkers, which is kind of nice. Hopefully we'll get a few more people meandering through, but they won't see it as a high value kind of nice park the way, almost everybody would. Did I get those benches? Okay, good. The benches is the right way. I was worried I had benches facing just totally the wrong way. Okay, good. So that looks about good enough. Just put a couple of those down. So I went with this kind of, each part of path should have a bunch of trees on one side, but then the other side a little bit open. And I like how it came out. I like how it came out. You get a decent amount of open space, and then the trees kind of form the nice little areas. And then it's something like an example here where this side has the trees, and then when this side has the trees, I just kind of, jutted them out. It felt right at the time, and it looks good. So I like it. I'll just go ahead and quickly fill in the rest of these benches. I don't need a bench right next to those. I have 6 million benches all in the same place, but just put a couple more in various places. Again, unfortunately, no one will use them, but it looks good to me. So put a couple more there. So that does leave this every other kind of stuff, leaves a nice way to put benches in because you don't want to put them in the woods, but you do need benches where the openings are. So here you can see here's a PPG because they're just kind of hanging out, which is good. I like to see that. And I keep using the benches the wrong way. Okay, just tuck these in. Okay, a few more really quick here. Do this. Oh, let me guess, they're facing the wrong way again. Right to left, right to left. Good enough. And right to left. Bring this up. There we go. And last set here, I believe. We'll just do this. Okay, and they don't have to be perfect. You can hardly see them from this far away, but I like knowing they're there. So, yeah, I mean, you can look at this nice view, and you can imagine when these sides are all filled in with these buildings, this will be a pretty nice little park place to go and relax. The other thing we finished up was this business area, which I think came out pretty well. Just pretty simple in a lot of places. Bollards, pavement. Put a little just, receiving area back here. And then over on this side, oh, they're parking. I hate you for doing this. And then just a small little dumpster area. This roadware stuff really helps. I really like it a lot. And then I have yet to have used this little brick texture. So I decided to use that there. You got the brick building, and I think that came out pretty well. So it really helps to not necessarily need to fill in all of this, this space. Well, now I'm looking at it over here. I'm going to grab my concrete brush. I don't like that dirt stuff. We're just gonna pave this over. There we go. Should be, yeah, okay. So we did that. We did Mason Gardens. Now what I'm gonna do is a little bit more road planning. I know we have lots of roads over here and stuff. Oh, we're having a garbage problem. Let's take a look at that first. So it looks like we have enough capability. Although frankly, where are my garbage things? Do I have one over here? I have an incinerator over here, but that's just my... okay, so there's these. Are these off, or is that... Nope, garbage truck's in use. Okay. Wonder why it looks black in the info menu. Let's go to garbage, yeah. Huh. All right, well, it looks like we might have to try and... Ooh, yeah, we're having a severe garbage problem over here. Try and work out a way to get some more garbage pickup. And, got some more... I'm still recovering from that hard drive crash. Most notably with these surface painter issues. All right, let's see if we can squeeze one of these little garbage things. That's what these are useful for. Just kind of stick it in here somewhere. Hopefully... Was that... I thought I saw it light up like right there. Okay, no, good. See, I'd really like to have it, maybe right in here like this, but it's gonna bulldoze something that I don't really want to deal with. We still have some garbage problems. I might just have to stick it in somewhere and let it be. Kind of bulldoze a couple buildings and have a small little... No, that's not what I wanted. Let's bulldoze this. Let's turn anarchy off. Put it there. And let this zone back in. And, something will grow in and it'll look okay. In the meantime, we'll get some garbage under control, hopefully. But as I was saying before, I got distracted. I know we have a lot of zoning, empty zoning here, which I will definitely work on, but until then, I do want to kind of work a little bit in this empty space. I'd like to have at least some structure of roads drawn out so I can kind of envision what's going to happen. So let's go back to, I like this one with the grass as opposed to the trees. We'll drag this one out here. And let's kind of take a look at where the city's going. So this is our main grid here. We have all these kind of other areas on the skewed grid, and this is kind of a mixture of the two. I'm kind of done, I think, much past here with that grid. think, you know, you get a good amount of grid in the middle of the city, and then once you drift out this way, that's enough. I don't need much more. So maybe we fill in this area, try to plan where our on and off ramps are going to be, which I think might be right about here, and do that on a different grid. Or maybe we use this train line to, yeah, all right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our normal road that we've been working with here. I'm going to pause the simulation so I can actually work easily. And we're going to continue this 12 unit grid. There's 12 by 12, and we'll just keep marching along. 12. So this is what, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so I think I want a 5th block here. 12, there we go. Okay, so here is 5 blocks of 12 by 12. I don't know if I want to connect that yet or not, but I'll deal with that in a minute. And then after 5 blocks, I think that's about as far as I've been going. Yeah, 65 units, 66 units. Well, how far? Yeah, so these are 65 and 66. This will be 60. Could go another 12, and that would be 72. Or I could turn this into the boulevard here. So let's see. Maybe I'll make this 13. 13, there we go. Because actually, that's a good idea. All right, I'll make both sides next to the avenue 13 because the avenue eats up 1 extra level of zoning. So we'll go 13. Oh, I don't want this one. I want this one. Yeah, there we go. That's better. 13 by 12. And then back to 12. So that's 2, 3, 4, and then 5 is 13 again. And then on the 13 or on the 5th, again, we go back to our with grass, make a nice little avenue here, and this will be our next block. And these have proven to be pretty long blocks, I think, or I don't know, bigger blocks, 80 units. And then this one obviously is going to be quite long. Into all the way to the river is 130 units or so, but this will be fine. Now, this is kind of asking for an on and off ramp duo here with the train line. This is going to be really complicated, so I might try it off camera, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, I'll probably do it back here, but I'm not going to try and tackle that right now. So just continue to fill in some of this. I don't need to do all of this right now, but just kind of give myself an idea. Yeah, I think I will connect it. It should be fine. And then again, just this way so I can know what's going on here. 12, 12, 12. And then I'll figure out what to do with the backside over there a little bit later. So this is probably the end of our grid. Maybe, again, I'm liking the idea of just using the train line. So let's see what it looks like if I go again by 12 blocks. I get 11, so which means 12 here would look like this. Yeah, all right. I think I like this. Now, do I want to cross it with anything other than the avenue? I don't think so. I think you have to leave this area and go to the avenue to cross. So I'll take this out again, 12. Now if I connect, yeah, okay, good, 12. So we continue to have our little 12 by 12 blocks here until the railroad forces you to do something else. 12. That's kind of nice. I like that. Now here, I think what I might do, I'll either have to elevate or depress the railroad, or I guess I could elevate the road. Yeah, I'll probably elevate the road, leave the railroad on the level. And then I might just turn this somewhere, because right now it's just kind of slamming right into this interchange. So I don't want to do that. Maybe I just go in a little tiny bit. And at this point, we're kind of out of the city. I'm going to switch back to a normal 4-lane here. And let's just see what kind of parallel I can make. If I come out, oh, it doesn't even matter. Some ambiguous amount of units. This is our parallel to the train tracks at this point. And then over here, maybe we do it again. About that far or so. Yeah. So let's bring this out and this in. Anarchy, please. Ugh. All right, so we might not be able to have a straight shot there, but we can manage that. This will go back to here right on the train tracks. That will probably be a bridge eventually. Okay, yep, I think I like how this is going. I might work with this train track a little, just kind of nudge it in different places. But we're gonna take this avenue, and I'll actually probably curve this avenue as well. But I'll have these nice little tangent spots here. And say, if this just runs like this. Well, how far is this? This is a good question. 14. So I come down 14. And go 90. This. Yep, and I'll turn this into a curve. I'm liking how this looks. This will probably have to come out more, I think. 13. Just because it's not quite right. We'll do it again. 12, 13, 14, like this. Actually, this was not the place I was supposed to do it. It's here. 14. Yeah, there we go. That just won't actually be where it connects to the rest of the road network, but this will be our nice little parallels. This will come down. Let's see, this just runs out some more. That look? Yeah, that's gotta be 90, okay. Yeah, so here I might take this little wave out of this road and make it more, or out of the train track and make it more just kind of straight shot across. But I think this becomes our maybe big boxes here. Let's go ahead and put a district here and just say, you know, whatever neighborhood this is, might have to come up with a King Lino related name because he has made a lot of the big box stores that look amazing. So if this is big box, it might be his neighborhood, even though he does have this neighborhood as well that I've left as Pine Park, but you know, I name things that fit. And then last but not least, let's figure out how we want to do this area. So again, we have this grid, it's kind of fading out. As much as I said I was done with it, I kind of like this, just continue the grid until it gets broken by the train. And then on the other side of the train, you have this kind of weird area with this curving avenue. So let's see what that looks like if I continue this. Bring this down at 90. Okay, now how far do we want to go with these big blocks? It should be probably a multiple of 12. I've had these little weird squeezing areas, but I don't really want to keep doing that. So if I go out 60 units, it's either 60 or 72 are my multiples. That looks nice. Yeah, all right, we're gonna do that. Go, and then if I continue out 60 units, I'm right here on the train track. Of course I am, but that's fine. And 60 is there. And I won't fill all this in now. I just want to, again, look and see what the city will look like. So bring this out another 60 units. And maybe by about here, we're definitely into kind of suburby, maybe not suburby, that's the wrong word, but just these lower level kind of houses. Maybe those Brooklyn reworked again. This one has the trees, so let's see if we can bring this to, I don't know why it won't pull it out for me, so I guess I'll do it from here. All right, what's your deal, guys? Come on. This is what I want, but I want it in trees. There we go, like that. Yeah. That looks good. I really like how this is starting to come together. You can kind of see the city just sprawling out down this way. So I really like this. I think this is good. That is all I have time for right now, though. As always, I want to thank you very much for watching. Unfortunately, this will be the last Tuesday episode for a little while. I have a bunch of trips and other events coming up in the next few weeks that will keep me away from home and away from the computer, so I won't be able to keep up the 2 times a week schedule. Rest assured, though, every Saturday there will be a new episode of Cedar Valley Redux. I hope you'll join me for all of them. If you want to make sure you don't miss any, go ahead and click subscribe. If you like this episode, go ahead and click the like button. But until the next one, which I hope to see you in, my name's been Rotype, and I'll see you next time.